Welcome to the episode of Jay Leno's Garage. Today we're going to talk about my favorite kind of vehicle, original and unrestored. Now we're here in the Jaguar section of the garage. If you've been to this website before, you know we're huge Jaguar enthusiasts. That's my XK 120, 1954. I've had that car, oh my God, almost 30 years, but heavily modified. It's got the 4.2 engine in it. It's got a 5-speed, a few other trick things. The one next to it is a 1954 XK 120M Coupe, original specifications, but a restored car. And that one there is a 63 XKE, heavily modified with a Series 2 front end and a V12 and all kinds of trick stuff. But this is a 100% original 1963 Jaguar XKE 3.8 Series 1. I bought it from the original owner. A lady bought it brand new in 1963. I bought it earlier this year. And all I've done is clean it up and restored it. And this is a classic example of it. If you take care of something, it can really last you a lifetime. The lady I got it from had it for 50 years. It's never been in an accident. There are a few little dings if you look close, but it's always been well maintained. And consequently, it's a perfectly original running car. The most amazing thing, even the clock works. A clock in a Jag still works after 50 years, which is unbelievable to me. It's original paint for the most part. I think it's been touched up in a few places. I would say it's about 85, 90% original paint. The lady I got it from told me she once had it up to 80 miles an hour. Can you imagine that? But she took care of the car and she maintained it. We've done a few things to it. Now, when I got it, it had been sitting for about 2 years, and I would say any deterioration happened in the last couple of years because it was put under a carport. We brought the car down to the shop here. We pulled the gauges out, cleaned them, had everything cleaned. Well, here's what it looked like. Give you an example of what I'm talking about. We pulled the gas tank out just to check it, and look inside here. Oh my God, you'd have so much rust and corrosion, but there isn't any. This car was well maintained. As I said, one owner from new. These are the original wheels. You know, when you have a car capable of 150 miles an hour, you don't want to take a chance with rusty spokes. So we're going to pull these wheels off. At some point we'll rebuild them, but you can actually buy brand new wheels that are stronger, that are exactly the same, and maybe about a ½ inch wider to take a more modern tire. That's what we're going to put on here. That's what'll be on it. That's what's on it right now. These are the originals. We're going to pull these off, rebuild them, put them on the shelf. So if you ever want to go back to 100% stock, we can. Everything worked, the tach, the speedometer. We pulled the gauges out. We just had them cleaned. We took them down to our speedometer guy just to go through everything and make sure it's okay. There's hardly any wear and tear on this engine at all. The head's never been off it, but she's all stock. That's pretty much how it is. We're not going to paint it. We're just going to clean it up and drive it as a 1963 one-owner car. The other interesting part is here's what the engine compartment looked like when we first got the car. Let me show you these still pictures. All we did was clean it up. Just elbow grease, a lot of metal polish, and everything came right back. I didn't want to paint anything. I didn't want to over-restore the car. I mentioned in the video a moment ago, we're sending the original wheels out to get rebuilt. I bought a set of these wheels to put on the car, replacement wheels, modern replacement wheels, so we could drive it. And you want to be safe. So a car as powerful as this and as fast as this, you don't want to take a chance with brakes, wheels, and tires. But for the most part, it's exactly as it left the factory. And oh my God, how nice it is to drive. It is really amazing. Let me show you under the hood. Let's open it up and we'll see what we're talking about. Well, here, I have a bunch of these books, Factory Original Jags, E-Type. And when you open this and you realize every picture in here matches exactly what I have. The old two-bladed fan, the corrosion around the gas cap. I mean, all the things. This is proof that this car has not been modified at all because everything is exactly, that's kind of what my wheels look like when I got it. Everything is exactly as it should be. Let's open the hood up and you'll see what I'm talking about. As much as I like Aston Martins, I don't think they're as good looking as these cars, and these cars are half the price. Okay, that's what an original engine compartment looks like that's just been cleaned up. I don't believe the head's ever been off this car. You can see the corrosion on the porcelain, on the exhaust. What happened there was water would come in through these louvers in the rain. The rainwater would get on the exhaust header, and of course would cause it to corrode a little bit and crack. We've just cleaned everything up, even surface rust we've cleaned up. Obviously there's a new battery. We've changed the fluids. Just replaced our heater valve. Cleaned up the radiator, that's fine. I don't think it has the original exhaust system on it, but it's a original exhaust system. And all we did underneath the hood here was wipe all this down. This is really greasy and really dirty from years of all the dirt and stuff being thrown up on it. Okay, did change the shocks. I have the original shocks, I put them on the shelf. Did change the shocks front and back. What else? The interior, that's original. All I did here was clean up the steering wheel. We pulled the steering wheel and sanded it and refinished it, and as you can see, it looks good. This is the original leather, haven't touched that. And that original brushed aluminum piece down the center there on the transmission tunnel, normally those are all scratched. No, it looks very, very nice. It's got a few scratches on it, but not bad. And the sexiest part of this car is this here. Open the rear door right here. Got a little latch here. Open the hatch up here. I always liked this hatch. I thought it was very sexy. This is all the original material here. It looks very, very nice. Your spare tire and everything goes under here. You saw how nicely that was taken care of. You have a storage area here. Call it a glove box, if you will. We got your tools. You got your original tools, manual, registration, all that stuff goes right in there. And I love these clamshell seats, you know, without the headrest. Yeah, I know it's not as safe, but sometimes it's better to look cool than be safe. I know that's ridiculous. But it had seat belts, there you go. But, you know, you had interior light. This is a well-equipped car. This is a great grand touring, fast sports car. I don't know how many actually went 150 miles an hour, probably not many. But you certainly can go 125, 130, because I know, because this has been up to that speed. But wonderful driving car. Very sexy, very light, very mechanical. You know, a lot of guys will, I think, ruin these cars and they try to hop them up. Because when they came out, they competed with the Corvette and other cars like that. And people just tried to make them do things, well, they could do, but really shouldn't have done. This makes a wonderful classic car. They're, contrary to popular belief, they are pretty reliable. And those engines are pretty bulletproof if you just know what you're doing or find someone that knows what they're doing. Don't mess with it. Don't modify it. Put it back to original specifications. This mirror is, that's a real 60s piece. You know, most people would have later put the bullet type around, but that's what came with it when it came from the factory. In fact, this car probably had white wall tires, as silly as that sounds. But I just love the fact that everything in this book matches everything under the hood of my car. Exhaust system, steering, handbrake. I mean, everything is there, and that makes it kind of cool. It's a real time warp car, and I must say, I am just thrilled to have it. It is so much fun to drive. You see, I have the exact same corrosion in there that, where is it here? Let me see. There you go. Look at that. See? Look at that. My corrosion matches that corrosion. How is that? How's that for authentic? I've got a leaky rear main seal, so the engine will probably have to come out to replace that. But that's okay. A chrome is original. Haven't redone any of the chrome. Even the license plate bracket is original with the British Motor Car Distributing Company on it. This is exactly what you would have gotten in 1963. Very, very sexy car. Original two-blade, old-style fan. And you know, it runs cool. It runs about 70 degrees centigrade, and that's in California where it's pretty warm. With the exception of our modern battery and a few other things, it's 1963. Let's go for an original factory Jaguar E-Type ride. You know, it's so great to drive a perfectly stock 1963 XKE because so many of these have been modified over the years. You don't really know how good or how bad they were when they were new. And as an unmolested original car, God, this thing is amazing. You realize how good they were when they were new and what a bargain they were compared to Aston Martins and Ferraris. These were half the price of the competing cars. This is my favorite generation XKE, this Series 1. You know, the best dashboard, the best switch gear. You know, it's the most romantic era of the XKE for me. A lot of people complain about the old Moss gearbox. Even in '63, they complained about it not having a synchro first gear. But, you know, this one is so nicely lapped in. It shifts just perfectly. Years of not abusing the car have just lapped the gears in nicely. You know, the mid-'60s were a very romantic time for automobiles. They wrote songs about automobiles. Nobody writes songs about cars today, but Jan and Dean, Dead Man's Curve, and, you know, the XKE and Spring Little Cobra and all these cars. It was just a different time. You know, it's amazing when you realize what a small car this is compared to modern automobiles. It seems so long, but it's actually not particularly wide. It is a rather small car compared to modern cars. Enzo Ferrari called this the best looking car ever, and I think he's not far from wrong. The fact that they produced so many of them might have taken away some of the exoticness of it, but what an amazing automobile these are. I know a lot of people like the convertible. That's the car that everybody lusts after, but for me, these coupes are far sexier, more aerodynamic looking. I love the hatch back door, just fantastic. You know, there are a lot of cars that don't look good in white, but this is such a great shape, it looks good in any color. Let's take it up on the freeway and see how she cruises. Come on. So at 70, you're turning about 3,000 RPM. You know, they could never put an overdrive in these because there wasn't enough room. I imagine if they kept making this car, they would have put a 5-speed in it, but although it could use a 5-speed, I'm just going to leave it stock. It just shifts and handles so nicely. You know, for me, this car just epitomizes the classic English sports car dashboard. As I said before, speedometer is right here, tachometer. And again, the most amazing part, the clock still works. You know, after 50 years, the clock still works. And a Jag, that's unbelievable to me. I think that's an omen. That's a sign that the car's been taken care of. You know, these were deemed illegal because they were dangerous. In a crash, they would hurt you. And you had to go to those clumsy plastic rocker switches. But I thought these were very classy. You got your ashtray there for your kind of Don Draper Mad Men kind of thing. Another interesting part is, look at the radio. That's a British Motor Corporation Division radio. They put their own radio in with their own tag on there. Once again, the classic English XKE steering wheel. Classic 4-speed gearbox right here, your Moss box. As I said, no synchro in first, but that's okay. That's not the end of the world. You know, it's so funny to drive a car. I love these clamshell seats, you know, no headrests. You know, these were claimed to go 150 miles an hour.
And I think back in 1963, we looked at 150 miles an hour the way we look at 200 miles an hour today, or maybe even faster. You couldn't beat on these cars the way you could, I think, Corvettes or even Porsches. But I think they make a better classic car than they did probably a new car. Because when these came out, American gas stations and garages didn't know how to fix them. And if Jaguar had a problem here in the United States, it was probably in service. But if you took care of them and treated them right, these would last forever. This is a testament to that, you know. We Americans tend to own these things for a couple of years and throw them away, and then somebody else gets it and they do a fix on a fix, and the car winds up with a bad reputation. Well, I hope you enjoyed the ride in the 63 XKE. You know, this is still one of the great classic car bargains. If you can find one, grab it now, because these are going to be crazy. Well, they're crazy prices now, but believe me, you're going to look back and go, I should have bought it then. So, if you find one, it's better than the stock market. You see that? That's that non-synchro first gear. Yeah. See you next week. Thanks. Bye bye.